Good day, that is good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you all our viewers, and welcome to yet another episode of our uh, uh, archival conversations at the Trans and Intersex History Africa. These shows happen every Friday, and we thank you so much for tuning in today on Facebook, on YouTube, and later on our website. My name is Victor Mukasa, and today I have the deep honor of being in conversation with a true pioneer, a pioneer from East Africa, Frankie Kibagendi. On today's show, Frankie Kibagendi is going to take us through his journey as an intersex person and activist. Frankie is the founder and executive director of Intersex Kenya Education and Advocacy, and that is I.K.E.A in short, and the coordinator at Gisiangu, Intersex Gisiangu, Kenya. In 2022, he made history by becoming the first openly intersex person to run for political office in Kenya. He also serves on the boards of Amka Africa Initiative and the African Intersex Movement. If that wasn't trailblazing enough, he pioneered the very first InclusiFit menstruation boxer in Kenya, probably now beyond. And that is a specific boxer for intersex people, can be used by transgender people and others, as he will explain in his story. Today, we explore his personal journey, political trailblazing, and ongoing commitment to intersex justice in Kenya, in Africa, in the world. Please help me welcome to the studio Frankie Kibagendi from Kenya. Frankie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm ready. At least we talk.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for accepting to be here and to share your very amazing story, part of which I know, but of course, I'm going to be one of your viewers and listeners during this show, ready to learn something new about intersex people in the world. Now, the word intersex, I think, for starters, Frankie, before we go deeper into your journey, I would love for us to take a moment to ground our viewers in understanding, the word intersex. It is very unfamiliar to so many, but also, on the other hand, it is misunderstood by many across the continent, actually across the world. And as someone who lives this truth and advocates for others, how do you define what intersex, what it means to be intersex?
Thank you, Victor, for this opportunity. I'm really honored to be in this space, and thank you, the organizers of Trans Intersex Hub, for finding time to give me this opportunity, at least to share and at least record a few things we have done as an organization, as a person, as a country, as a continent, and also to inform. Today we are going to write history so that a few people can learn from us.
Right.
When we talk about intersex, the word intersex, it means a lot in different contexts. More so in our African countries, to some extent, when we are doing advocacy, we even use words that people can understand well, because at the end of the day, we want people to understand what that means. Okay. But in layman language, when we talk about intersex, you talk about, it means talking about gonads, talking about hormones, talking about genitalia of a person. The combination of all those, that means intersex. But to some extent, when we are doing our work in the rural setup, we tend to use genital mostly so that our people can understand, but also divining that to some extent you may include gonads, you may include chromosomes, and later some intersex individuals characteristics comes out later in life. So to some extent, depending where you are, but most importantly, you must talk about the four things: the chromosomes, the genitalia of the person, the hormones, and the gonads. Thank you, Victor.
Right. Thank you so much for that explanation. We have also heard, and this is to take away, to educate us first before we dive deep into your story. We have heard a lot of people, and some of us, even in the past, referred to intersex people as hermaphrodite, and we used the word hermaphrodite. Is this word still applicable? Is it a respectful word? Is it a word? How do you advise us to use or to deal with this word?
To be honest, we are not supposed to use that word. But to some extent, for people to understand it well,
yes.
Up to now, some people use it. I remember the other day I went to a certain office, a very big office, and the senior person who was in that office was like, I don't understand intersex means what, but I understand hermaphrodite means what. So to some extent, we use those words loosely to make people understand what that means. But it's abusive word to intersex persons. And that's why we use intersex instead of hermaphrodite.
I guess our first lesson today is that the word hermaphrodite is a derogatory word that we should not use to describe intersex people. So our viewers out there, please take note of that. The word hermaphrodite, as you see on the screen, is not what we use to refer to intersex people. Frankie here has just explained to us what intersex means, and we will even get educated more as he speaks today. Please feel free to leave a question or comment in the comment section of Facebook and YouTube. We will be able to give it to Frankie, relay it to Frankie for your response. Now, Frankie, now we are into the conversation. I hope you brought your coffee or water or juice, whatever you use to soothe your throat. And before we start with your story, I just know and learned that you are from Kenya. For those who have just joined us and heard that this is from Kenya, that you hail from Kenya, where is Kenya in Africa? And please give us 2 fun facts about that nation.
Thank you, Victor, for that. First of all, Kenya is the headquarters of Africa. And it is located at the East Africa. And Kenya, we are a rough-free country. Yeah, that's all about Kenya.
You are a rough country? Is that what you say?
Yes, Kenya is the headquarters of Africa.
Okay. But from what I see on the screen today, it looks like Kenya is the land of smiling intersex people. And so, yes, Kenya out there, special shout out to all Kenyans that are watching today and after this show. Right, Frankie, most of us have met you for the first time here, and that is the viewers and listeners out there. If you could just take us back, let us start from when we have baby Frankie. Take us back to your early years as a human being in Kenya or wherever you were born. Where did you grow up, and how did you first begin? How did you begin to experience and understand your intersex identity? Along the way, we shall talk about the community you lived in, your family, your school, the marketplaces where you went, the streets, and how those have shaped you. But yes, where do you come from, Frankie? And when do you first realize and understand your identity as an intersex person?
Thank you, Victor. Okay, let me start here.
Thank you.
For the last 38 years, official on the names which were on my documents is Francisca Kwamboka Kibagendi. And those names are purely women names. I was born in Kisii, that's a county in Kenya. And because by that time, my family, my mother, my father, they never knew what intersex meant. And because of that, they gave me the female names. And then I was born with ambiguity. And because my family, they never knew what that meant, they did what we call intersex gender mutation. And they give me Francisca Kwamboka Kibagendi.
What do you mean by intersex genital mutilation?
Yes, it's the correction surgery that parents and through the guidance of a doctor, they do to decide the person they want to raise, if they want to raise a boy child or a girl child. So it is called intersex gender mutilation.
So it is about the ambiguity of the organs of the
To some extent, it is the decision of parents, the child they want to raise.
It is about them, who they want to raise.
Yes.
So that is what the decision they made for you.
Yes.
Please go on.
So the parents decided to raise a girl child. And I grew up as a girl. And I went to Motondo Primary School, that's in Kisii County. And even the secondary school in Kisii County. But now, during that time, my cousins, very close relatives, they were using abuse words, but I never understand what that meant. And because of that, it was not of my, like what they meant, and completely I never knew, and I was not even disturbing myself to understand what that meant. So until puberty, because normally as a girl, when growing up, there is a few physical features that indicates that this person being raised in this family is a girl or a boy.
Yes.
And at that time, completely, I had nothing to show that the person being raised is a girl. And because of that, I never had anybody who was explaining to me what that meant. And because of that, and normally, to be honest, even now, in our African culture, in Kenya, we don't even explain what that means to our intersex children, even now. And because of that, I finished my class 8, and then I went to a secondary school. The advantage of it is that I went to a mixed school, where in the mixed school, there were no many questions, despite the fact, yes, there were questions, because the family, the community expects to see a girl, the second characteristics of a girl coming out. Yes. But for me, there were no such characteristics. I used to love football up to now. I was playing football by that time very strongly. And I remember even one day stripped in a stadium, people wanted to understand who this person was. And because of that, but now being a child, I never saw it as something bad. I continued loving football and even participating football until a few years ago. So when I decided, like, no, I don't want to be associated with football more so, but I love football even now. Then from there, I was, as I said, I was in a mixed school. And in the mixed school, we had no more questions, but still there were few people trying to understand what that means. And when I finished my Form 4, and then from there I wanted to find out like what that means, who was this person.
Just a second, and I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's okay.
As you grew up, did you know that a surgery had been done to you, or your parents just remained silent about that?
Unfortunately, my parents died when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I had my grandmother saying, the time I was born, it's like there were waves from Lake Victoria going to the other direction. And during that time, people like me were born, but they were not explaining to me what that means. But
Wow.
another aunt of my mom was like, you made your mom to go to Kenyatta National Hospital, which is a very big hospital in Kenya
Yeah.
and East Africa,
Mm-hmm.
but they never explained to me what they went to do.
Right.
So because of that nobody has ever told me until the other day when I found some documents showing that some years back I was in Kenyatta National Hospital for a surgery.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. This is a very deep story, Frankie, and please share only what you're comfortable with. Viewers out there, I think we should applaud Frankie for sharing this story, because this is not unique to Frankie. It is the situation of many many intersex people in Africa and indeed across the world. What you just heard is that Frankie being born intersex, and I hope it is respectful to you, Frankie, and our advisors at I.K.E.A on intersex issues. I should be corrected. Frankie was born with ambiguous genitalia. The family decided this. They decided we want this child to be a girl, and raised Frankie as a girl. And this is brief for those who have just joined us. Decided to raise Frankie as a girl. Frankie had no idea about what had happened to him, but the parents decided to do that surgery because of what they wanted for him. He had no say in that decision. Frankie is continuing to tell us about this journey. Frankie, I don't know if I didn't get it. When do you realize, yet recently you found the documentation and all that, but when do you realize that you are an intersex person? Like, oh, I'm intersex. Was it during the school period or afterwards?
Um, when I started like realizing who am I, I can say that it was during that puberty time, because I was expecting to have female characteristics, the second characteristics of a female.
Yes.
And then from there, and then I was like, now, and again, nobody was explaining to me what that means. And I just immediately after finishing my form is when like I was in deep finding out that this person is not a girl,
Yeah.
but an intersex. Yeah. Like, to be honest, it's purely when I started knowing myself.
That is
Yeah.
when you started, and that's when you realize this is actually who I am. Very,
Yeah.
very deep story. And when you got to, and I really thank you, because you're educating me a lot too. I'm sure a lot of people are feeling it. Did you have language at that point? Did you have language, like in your local language? Was there a language that was used to describe you?
Um, we have several words, and to be honest, they were never used to me directly. But anytime you pass by, anytime people they want to abuse you in one way or another, is when they were using such words. Including, I remember one day there was a conflict between me and my cousin, and he talked about something, and I was like connecting what that means, and I came to realize that it meant that's how they talk about an intersex person. Yeah, we have several words, and to be honest, in Kenya, because I did some research, different communities, they use different words, and they are very abusive words.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just took us through. I'm just trying to remember in Uganda what they used, what kind of words they used, but I just know that the words that were being used were really derogatory words. Like they're very abusive. I wouldn't even want to repeat them. Yeah, but yeah, so now you know that you are intersex, you have been to school, and what then informs your coming into activism? Uh, in your bio, we see you've done amazing work around intersex issues. How then do you begin to go into activism? Because later on, we see you founding an organization strictly for for intersex people, I.K.E.A, and we see you leading the intersex work, I believe, at Gisiangu. Please take us through this journey. What prompted you?
Okay. I remember one day I went to a cyber, and that time I used a lot of my time in a small college, which was people were taking computer skills. And in that college, I used to Google a lot to understand who is this person, because I knew very well that this person was not a girl, despite the fact I was raised as a girl. And one of the activists reached out to me and connected to me to Chinsiangu, and that was 2013.
2013, yes.
Then at Chinsiangu is when I came to learn that I was an intersex person. Now the word intersex, that's the first time I heard the word intersex. And when I was at Chinsiangu, we were intersex persons, trans persons, and gender non-conforming persons at Chinsiangu. And to be honest, today I can say that Chinsiangu has been a space for the intersex persons in Kenya and even Africa, in terms of safe space, finding information, and also some research here and there. And then from there, I remember one day we were having our meeting in Archival, because by that time we never had an office. And we were just meeting, just getting to know from each other how people are doing in their homes, and a few challenges we were sharing by that time to understand how better we can come up with the organization. And one day I remember one of my colleagues came, P10. He was like terribly beaten, and I wanted to find out, like, why is it that this person was beaten? And then I was, even by that time, despite the fact I was living in a slum, I was like, can we live together so that I can be part of the security for this person? And then from there, I felt like that was the time I came out to talk about this issue openly. But by that time, again, we never had the language. We never had the policies. So we were like, here we were, what can we do? And then I remember by that time, there was a case that was I.K.E.A case. If you know I.K.E.A case, that time there was that case, and Chinsiang was part of the groups following up, and in terms of what was happening by that time. And our director was like, now you can follow up and understand what's happening so that you can carry on the case. But I remember it was not easier, because one, we are coming from the community where people, they don't understand you completely. The people, they know you as a curse. People, they don't even appreciate who you are. So because of that, and I felt like that was the right time to come out. Right. And I remember one of the days, our programs director and our director telling me and my colleague that now it's high time you start programming for intersex work in Kenya. And by that time, what firstly came to our mind is to go to Uganda to CBIT and benchmark. Right. So we went to CBIT, that is 2014. We saw what CBIT were doing. Then we came back to Kenya to do the work. I don't know what happened. And then we left CPID on the way in terms of policies in Kenya. But CPID has been a mother to our work, not only in Chinsiangu, not only in Kenya, but at least all over Africa. So from CPID,
special shout out to you, CPID, for the work you have done in the region.
Yeah, they have done a lot. So from CPID, I'm also going to say thank you to Chinsiangu, our director, Tony, and Lexi, our deputy director, who gave us the space. Because as you know, Chinsiangu is an organization which has given a space for intersex persons to do what we are doing. Remember, intersex persons, our education level is very low. So that means coming out and the resource funding for our projects, it has been their work, and they're giving us the really space. Because I remember by that time we were 2, and now we are over 200. Doing support groups, supporting intersex persons to go to school.
Intersex identifying individuals.
Yes.
That is amazing. Yes. You have done amazing. While at Chinsiangu, again, help me understand, when you joined Chinsiangu, you joined aware that you were intersex, or did you join as a transgender person? And I ask this question so that we understand it's important that that intersex people out there can who relate would pick something also for how to proceed.
Thank you, Mukasa. To be honest, when I joined Chinsiangu, I knew I was different, but I never knew the word to use. So at that time is when we were like, now who am I? Through the medical report I had, and also and now I can explain myself.
Yes.
And then also the other members coming out and telling us who they were. And then that's when I came to realize the wording for intersex and trans and gender non-conforming. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So I knew that I'm going to this organization, but now I never knew the word to use by that time.
Again, I might understand what the process, a little bit of what the process has been, but it's important to hear from you, just for the sake of those who are out there who do not understand this and would love to understand it. So your parents brought you, decided they were going to bring you up as a girl because they made decisions for you on your body. And then you grow up, of course. At what point do you start to embrace the identity you felt that you knew that was your identity? Because you said you were raised as a girl, you were treated as one. Today I see a brother here speaking to me, and these questions I ask deeper for the sake of those who need to understand better.
Remember, we are in Africa.
Yes.
And because we never had language by that time, I came to realize that this is the person I am after Chinsiangu has given me a space. And now I'm out there talking about intersex issues. Because after Form 4, I joined Chinsiangu. I got a language. I got a name. Then from there, I started I remember we had a project, Chinsiangu and Church World Service we were doing.
Yes.
And then they were bringing together religious leaders from all over the country. And during that time is when I had an opportunity to make some contacts with the different religious leaders from all over the country. So by that time, what I decided to do as an activist, as an organization, is to go out and talk about us.
Yes.
Without knowing that there's an intersex in that village. It was just giving the information and asking them to protect the intersex children and the persons, without knowing that in that village we have an intersex person. And then from that time, I've gone to more than 40 counties in Kenya. And immediately after leaving that village, you can just receive calls that we have intersex children, we have this person here, and how can you connect and support moving forward? So through those forums we had, and that is 2014, 2015, it enabled us as an organization to get more intersex persons, to talk about intersex issues, to start even changing policies in Kenya to accommodate intersex persons. Yeah.
Wonderful. From what I have heard, you are saying that there are transgender people today in Africa with an intersex background where parents or caregivers decided for them what to be. They grew up and realized and embraced the real them.
Yeah.
All right. Oh my God, Frankie, take a sip of water. I just took a sip of coffee right now. This in this intense conversation, I have a set of questions that I came with
It's okay.
from myself and the team at I.K.E.A, and I will continue to ask you some of those. And I think that we should move. There will be questions coming back to this sector that where we have been, but moving forward for now is your political career. You know, I feel so proud, a guy, really, to know of an intersex person from Africa who has actually pursued political office. Now, in 2022, you became the first openly intersex person to run for political office in Kenya. What inspired that bold step? How was the experience of campaigning as an intersex person openly in a predominantly conservative Kenya in East Africa? Number three, what was the public and media response? And what lessons do we learn from that journey? Please take us through that. Like, you're seated there, and what do you decide you want to do for the communities in Kenya?
Thank you, Victor. To be honest, that's another experience. To some extent, I don't want even to talk about. But for learning purposes, it is very, very okay to share and talk about it openly. By that time, I was very okay until a few of my supporters can come to me and report directly without even changing any word what the opponents were talking about. To some extent, I was like, I go to my house and I never come back, but I was like, no, I wanted this and I must go ahead with it. First of all, why is it that I wanted to represent our people, the community I was living to in a political seat? It was because, one, to be honest, you must be in that space so that we can have policies. I was after policies.
Yes.
I was after to change laws.
Inclusive
to
policy.
Make sure that we accommodate the intersex persons.
Right.
Because a member of county assembly, at your level, you have some policies you can push and make sure that we accommodate the intersex persons. Secondly, as a Kenyan above 35 years, above 18 years, 35 years, yes. I wanted also to lead because I felt that I have all the qualities to be in that political arena. And it was a nice experience. I learned a lot. And I used a lot of my time to educate the people and understand who intersex is, including political parties, including when I was in the political space. All the time I was like, we are here and we need this space. And I remember I came the first person to be nominated by a political party. And up to even now, I'm a threat to the community where I want to fight again. Wow. In 2027. During my campaigns, I really enjoyed, but my opponents used my intersex characteristics to pin me down. Because they were like, who is this person? Do you know them? Who they are? And purely because our community understands just a binary set of a man or a woman. And they were like, you don't know this person, you know? And how is it that you want such a person to lead our community and you don't know them? And that's what they used a lot to make sure that they are winning in either way.
Bring it down.
Yeah. But it was a nice experience. And to be honest, even now, in any platform I go, I advocate for our people to come out and fight for these spaces. Because we are here to make sure that we are making a change. And the only way we can make a change is by being in those tables where our policies, laws are being made.
You are right. You are right.
And, yeah, because like now when we talk about the anti-laws, anti-LGBTI laws, but if we can be having our own people in those platforms, they can be easier even mobilizing people and even telling them what that means. But now because of misinformation, a lot of information, people, they don't understand what that means. It is completely, we use a lot of monies to mobilize, even educate these policymakers. But if we can have our own people, it's a nice space whereby we can tell them what that means to have this community. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that response, Frankie. And now you talk about laws. We know that we have anti-homosexuality legislation in East Africa, of course, in Africa, but since we are focusing on Kenya, in East Africa right now, where you are based, we have those strictly called anti-homosexuality laws, but we know that these laws actually affect transgender people very heavily, probably a little bit even at a higher level, and Kenya is one of those countries that have criminalized homosexuality. And I mention homosexuality because this is how they term them, these laws. How, if in any way, have these laws affected intersex people? Are intersex people affected by these laws? And how do they affect intersex people? Also, are there any laws specifically targeting intersex people?
Thank you, Victor, for that question. One, to be honest, remember that in Africa, our communities, our families, term intersex persons as a curse. And remember, these children, they are in our communities. And our communities, they don't even differentiate between the intersex persons and the largest community, the LGBT community. And because of that, when we talk about these laws, they mostly and directly affect the intersex persons. Because if it comes in terms of violence, they will attack the intersex persons because those are the people they know each and every day and they see. Again, when we talk about the policies, the laws, this person was raised as a girl, and this person, they came to realize themselves later, and they want to have their families.
Yes.
And remember, the policies, the laws, they don't talk about these people. So, which means to one point or another, the community is going to victimize these people because the laws affect them directly. So because of this, that's what I'm saying. Once we are in these spaces, we can be able to educate, talk to our policymakers to understand what that means. When we talk about laws that protect the intersex persons in Kenya, our constitution, the rights of the Bill of Rights, it talks about protecting the persons as long as they are Kenyan citizens. Then from there we have when the country, the leaders decided to count the intersex persons in general census 2019. Then which means they know the intersex person exists.
Yes.
Then from there we have Children Act 2022 amended to include the intersex children. And then now we have the Intersex Persons Bill. And again, we have several laws which has been amended to include the intersex persons in Kenya. So in one way, we are protected. But now because of people they don't understand, people they don't know, we might be, the rights might be violated anytime because of culture, because of religion. Yeah.
That is very interesting, and those are actually advancements in the Kenyan system. That during the census, they counted specifically how many intersex children do we have in this country, and that as they amend laws, they include intersex children. I think that is amazing and worth noting down. Um, and even, I mean, from that very response that you have given, your organization I.K.E.A, and I don't know if there are other organizations, I see that you deal with families. Over the years, what kind of support have you given to families with intersex children, and has there been a shift in how families approach the occurrence of a birth of an intersex child?
Thank you so much. The main reason why I decided to form I.K.E.A, it is because the workload at Chinsiang was big. Chinsiang was an organization working for intersex for the longest time. We have been receiving several cases of intersex persons who want to go to school, who want to have, who want to understand their medical issues, who want to advance their education from high school to colleges, who some families reaching to us want to support in terms of economic empowerment. And because of this, I now say that it is okay if we can have another organization that can purely talk about the intersex children rights, specifically children. Because even now, as I coordinate activities, intersex activities in Chinsiangu, majority of the intersex persons we get are the older intersex persons. And because of the childhood trauma, the package is big until I felt that if we can have an organization where we identify the children so that we can be able to, from the word go, we take them to counseling processes. We make sure that they get services in terms of going to school, medical services, and all those services children needs to get. And because of that, that's why we formed this organization. But to be honest, Chinsiangu has been there to make sure that children get all the services, including when we talk about the Children Act amendments, Chinsiangu contributed, including when we talk about the Intersex Persons Bill, Chinsiangu brought all the intersex persons together to make sure that they are contributing to this bill. So I.K.E.A is there to make sure that parents can be able to support their children and get services as from their childhood. Yeah.
So it looks like you have the space and have been able to reach out to reach families that have this blessing, which many call a challenge, but I call it a blessing, that a lot of people now can better, love their children and realize that their children need to have a say in that decision instead of parents deciding who they want to raise, as in the case of your own childhood. I believe that is very amazing work, and it is very interesting to learn that it has been done for some years, for some years now, and we will always celebrate the work that people like you and those at CPID in Uganda and elsewhere in Africa have done to change these attitudes. And like I said, I will keep going back and forth. I'm still moving forward, and I'm coming to the greatest innovation in Africa for me. Knowing that you are the brain behind the InclusiFit boxer, and that you came up with this. I would like for you to talk about this boxer first of all, this undergarment, what it is, what inspired you to come up with this kind of idea, and how did you manage to actually bring it into reality? How far has it gone so far? I will also request the studio, if anybody in the studio is able to give us any pictures or information of the, the misfit, the InclusiFit boxer, menstruation boxer, please do so. But Frankie, you are in that list of inventors in this world. What inspired you? And what is
Thank
this
you,
that you
Victor.
brought up?
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
One of Chin's young partners in 2023 did a small survey to understand the sexual reproductive rights for intersex persons.
Sorry,
And
Frankie,
Chinsiang was
is
an organization that understands the intersex community well. We were like the one mobilizing intersex persons within the 4 counties. That is Nairobi, Kiambu, Kilifi, and Mombasa. Through the partner organization, Amka Africa, we had an opportunity to interview 41 intersex persons, and 30 out of 41 intersex persons, they get menstruations. But now, getting to know what they use, it was they were terrible answers, and even some of the intersex persons quoting that to some extent they were not able to attend their working spaces. They were not able to come out of their homes when they have menstruation because there were no product they were using. And even some of them saying that they were using materials which are health-wise, they are not good. And after that, I was challenged as a leader, and I wanted to find out what can we do as an organization, as a person, to make sure that we are coming up with a product that fits the intersex persons. Remember, the anatomy of an intersex person, it is different from the other people's, specifically women. Yes. And because of that, I felt that it was my responsibility to find out how better can we have a product that fits the intersex persons. And because of that, through other partners, I get options. And I remember getting intersex persons together because as an intersex person, I don't get menstruation, but other intersex persons in my circle get menstruations. Right. And because of that, I felt like it is better I come up with a solution. So I remember asking them what they want, how they want the product to look like, and how they like everything. It came from the intersex persons themselves, including the name, including the colors, So during that time is when we came to realize that the only thing we can use and can be comfortable to intersex person is the boxer. And because of that, we came up with the boxers. We gave them to intersex persons to test, and the feedback was good. There was amazing responses. And because of that, we want to better the product, because this is not the final product. We want to better the product. We want people to understand what that means. And up to now, the intersex persons, they are very happy that now, finally, we have a product we can use as a community. And the product is not limited to intersex persons alone. It can be used with the trans persons, trans women, even women who feel that it is okay to use the boxer, and it is reusable. Remember, our community, to some extent, we don't have resources, and even you understand period poverty. And because of that, this boxer is a bit expensive, and because of that, we decided to have reusable sanitary towel, whereby they can be used long hours and also can be washed and used. And because of that, here we have the product. I request if we can get more partners on board so that we better the product, so that our intersex persons can enjoy having these products readily available for them to use.
Wonderful. Oh, Frankie, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And even thank you for the process. That process that you just described. You sat there and called them. You realized that was a problem, called them, and together you described what would be best. And today, a product that actually is usable by the community is in place. We've seen a lot of inventions of people just sitting in their houses and who do not identify, and them saying, well, I'm making this for women, I'm making this for trans people, when they have no idea what that is. Frankie, thank you for this product. And I wanted to ask you, is it a product that you are selling outside of Kenya? Is it okay if others outside of Kenya, can order it? Can they access it? Is it okay even to mention how much they need to actually acquire this product? If this is something you want to talk about, I will leave you on this stage for a minute alone to show the product and let people know how to get it.
Thank you, Mukasa, for that. To be honest, this product is a bit expensive because we sell it at 1,000 Kenyan money, and we don't have enough because whatever we had, we are exhausting the stock, and we need to have more of these products. It is a bit costly because it's reusable, and again, the materials of making this it's a bit costly. And as per now, we are selling it at 1,000 Kenyan shillings, and we can get it through Chinsiangu InclusiFit account, where we can be able to order online, and from there we can make arrangements how our people are going to get it in Kenya, East Africa, and even Africa. Yeah, because we have different platforms we meet, and then from there we can be able to make sure that our people are getting this product whenever they will order it from. And again, we are trying to see how best we can better the product and make sure that it is readily available for our members to get it and use it.
That's a very, very important piece of information for intersex and trans people out there. That is a product made in Africa, very well thought in terms of the process, and I think that it is something that we should look into. For 1,000 Kenyan shillings, that is just below 100 US dollars, we can get this. 1,000 Kenyan shillings is about $10.
Yeah, it's about $10. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about $10, friends out there. $7, close to $8 US dollars. People can get this product. And for donors and supporters of the intersex community, the trans communities in Africa, this is another project that you can support to further.
Victor, allow me to say this.
Yes, please.
Remember, people in Nairobi town can be able to get this product easily. But yes, what about those people in our rural areas who even getting the normal sanitary towel is expensive to them, and also even they're not able to access?
Right.
To be honest, I'm appealing for our people to come out and support us, get these products, as many as possible, so that anytime we are going in our work in our rural areas, we can be able to give them for free, because it's not easier an intersex person, because of the lack of education, lack of employment, can be able to get these products. It can be okay if we can get many of these products and we can give them for free to our intersex community. Thank you, Victor.
Well, that is a message to the supporters out there. If you could just, reach out to I.K.E.A, reach out to Frankie and Gisiangu. Yes, the contacts are right there, and see how you can support this very, very important project to help trans and intersex people across Africa and elsewhere. If you're outside of Africa, this is still a product that you can bank on. It has been tested by intersex people in Kenya. Thank you so much, Frankie for that. And if anybody has a question over there around these issues that we are discussing today, feel free to ask those questions. And the other thing that I wanted to ask is going back into some of the things that we've talked about. I would like you, if you are able to, it's more of a message to parents out there in Africa and elsewhere. What message do you want to leave for parents who have not had a chance to be approached by CIPID or I.K.E.A, but have gotten a chance, or even where we can pass this message to? Please speak to the parents of intersex people, even future parents of intersex children. What should be the best practice in raising their children?
Thank you, Victor. To be honest, the only thing our parents can do is to love the intersex children. Then after loving them, you can now be able to give them all the services they want, all they deserve, and they are supposed to get. And secondly, let us not do the intersex gender mutilation. That's another thing our parents have been doing for the longest, and which completely misleads the life of an intersex person. These surgeries, they are very costly, they are irreversible, you can't reverse the surgeries, and because of that, they make the lives of intersex persons miserable. To be honest, it is the highest time we allow our intersex children to grow the way they are, so that they can decide who they want to be when the time comes. So for our parents, if you can be able to love your children, then you can be able to give them all the services they want. And then from there, stop the intersex gender mutilation. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you to Frankie. Are there specific hospitals? You say that this is not reversible at all. And is it okay for parents to find you? Is there a way we can get parents to find you?
Yes. My number is open all the time. Call me through WhatsApp, text me through my Facebook page. My number is always there. My number is 0718 50 3718. Text me. You want me to guide you, because at the end of the day, whatever I passed through as an intersex person, we don't want another intersex person to go through it. So we don't allow any intersex gender mutilation. And in Kenya, through Kenyan Constitution, the Children Act, if you are found that you did intersex surgery, then you are going to be punished either through going to prison or some fines. But why is it that you want to do this surgery and they are unnecessary to our children? Allow our children to grow the way they are. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a message to the parents. I wanted to ask also, in terms of gender markers, what is the situation like in Kenya? Or what was it before, if it has changed?
Yes, it has changed.
What
through the legal notice 153, Children Act, which was amended 2022, now we are implementing the Children Act. And now in Kenya, when a child has been born, the birth certificate, the birth notification should indicate intersex. It is there, but now what we are doing as an organization, as an activist, is to go down to our communities, different counties, to let the registrar understand that the birth certificate should indicate intersex, so that they stop misgendering these children and moving forward. Now in Kenya, intersex children are supposed to be recorded intersex. Yeah.
That's amazing. And this did not happen before at all. So it must be part of the sensitization and education that you are doing as activists, because then the policymakers got to know that these are concerns and changed this. So 2022, we are registering history. In 2022 is when you say the Children's Act put provisions for intersex children. And today, when a child is born in Kenya and they're intersex, they will be noted down as intersex children, not anymore as non-existent.
Yes, including me changing all my documents. The names appears here. They are official names in my documents. 2023, I started the process as a leader. I wanted to understand if whatever the government talking about documentation is happening. And I went through the process in terms of changing my birth certificate and also changing my ID to read Frank Kibagendi. So the process, it was very successful, and I'm advocating to make sure that the rest of the intersex persons are getting these products easily at all counties. But again, it is my responsibility, it is a government responsibility to make sure that the service providers understand that this is happening. Yeah.
Wonderful. We, you know, this, and thank you so much, TIHA, which I'm a part of, because this is information that, you know, we really need to have, and an inspiration to other activists across the country. Talking about other activists across the country, we have intersex people across the continent that will be hearing another intersex person actually for the first time, or, you know, seeing somebody who has walked the road that you have walked. What message, specific message, do you leave for our intersex communities in Africa today and in the future?
I know intersex persons in Africa, it's not easier for all of us to come out, but it's high time to come out and talk about our issues openly. And the time you are doing that, you are able to save somebody else who is going through a road, either discrimination or mental health, or not getting other services because who they had. If you can be able to come out, talk about our issues openly, we can be able to encourage other intersex persons to come out and also be able to change policies, advocate for our own rights, advocate for our intersex person to get services, because it's one of our necessities we are supposed to get as intersex persons. And also we can be able to save lives, because majority of the intersex children are being killed each and every day. Intersex persons are killing themselves because they don't have somebody who's supporting them, they don't have somebody who is educating them, they don't have somebody who is talking on behalf of them. But if you can be able to come out and influence policy change, all can be possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frankie. And intersex people out there, Frankie mentions jinsi yangu. Frankie leads an organization called I.K.E.A. If we can have the full name on the screen of I.K.E.A. So I.K.E.A. So that, and Frankie said he is available. He is available. Reach out. Reach out. And Frankie is ready to hold your hand. And thank you so much, Frankie, for availing yourself. For those who joined us towards the end now, this is Frankie from Kenya and is the leader of Intersex Kenya Education and Advocacy. He founded that and leads it. Frankie is a leading intersex activist in Africa. I would say Africa because you are part of networks also in Africa, is what I saw. And is doing amazing work in the sub-region and region. Just told us their story, their journey, life's journey. And please, you can watch this video from the start on Facebook. It will sit permanently on YouTube, but most importantly, it is on our website, which you will see down there, Trans and Intersex History Africa, which is where is the home of all the history and information and stories that we are collecting as a way of preserving our history as trans and intersex Africans on the continent and in the diaspora. Frankie, thank you so much for your openness. Your vision.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yes, and your vision and your unshakable courage and your inventions. I am going to talk to you more about the InclusiFit and where which is a boxer, a menstrual boxer for intersex and trans people, designed specifically for that. To our audience, please follow Tiha and share today's conversation widely. Feel free to cut out, we will cut out some pieces that Frankie has given as messages to our communities. Please feel free to spread them. This is for education. This is for empowering us as Africans, preparing us for a world of inclusivity. And Frankie, an intersex person in Kenya, ran for political office not so long ago. It means that, yes, we can. So I thank you so much, Frankie. And somehow we will be inviting you again at some point, because we never exhaust everything here. We encourage you to go forward with what you're doing. We are also here in case you need us. You need the support of Trans and Intersex History Africa. But we are family. Thank you so much for your openness. Thank you for the support you give to the communities. And for the rest of us tuned in, listening and watching, until next Friday, have a wonderful weekend from here
Thank
at
you.
Intersex History Africa. Au revoir. Bye-bye.